The views expressed in this video presentation are my opinions and not necessarily the opinions of guests and others sharing or reposting this video. The content is produced only for educational and informational purposes. Do not regard any statement in this video as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. Investing comes with risks to loss of principal. Always conduct your own research and seek guidance from a professional investment advisor. I am not a professional investment advisor. I'm Dollar Will. Let's see, give me a second, everybody. Get this thing done. Here. Good. All right. Today is a very special day for me in this journey on YouTube and Patreon. And I'm just really so excited. I first want to make sure everybody can hear me. I don't have that many people in the room right now. But we're going to forge ahead anyway. I got CR Frank. Give me a 1, CR, if you can hear me in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat. Gotta get a 1. Anybody in the chat, give me a 1. Okay, good. Got Black Torch. Keep it techie. There you go. The A team is here. That's what matters. You know, it's not about quantity. It's quality. You know, the 80-20 rule is real. The people that are here are the ones that are meant to be here. Okay. At the top of the chat, you know, of course, I got Patreon and Cash App and PayPal. But like I was saying, this when I first came on YouTube, I was a listener for a long time. I used to work. I worked in broadcasting for about, for this one particular company, 25 years. And so I was listening to YouTube since YouTube began, because when YouTube first started, YouTube was I would say I knew YouTube through the use of it by my company, because this is when companies started having intranets. Okay. And then, so from the intranet, which is where you find all your company information, maybe some policies and stuff for how your department works, and sharing tips and stuff to make the employees better. But then manufacturers started getting into it and putting their manuals to how equipment works and stuff online. So in broadcasting, we would, a lot of stations, we would share information about how we were implementing different things, different tools and stuff. And so this is like way back in the day. It was YouTube was nothing like it is now. And that's where I would hang out at night, learning, just trying to become a better recording engineer. I was recording, I was doing everything, but I was doing a lot of cultural events, anything from news, including music, live music, studio music, large format consoles, SSL, that kind of thing. That's the world I come from, So I was a film major in school, had my own kind of frustrations with media, because back in the day, I got into the business before Pro Tools and software and all this stuff. You needed money. But first you had to do you had to have you had to politic, you had to have your social skills down to be able to finesse your way to get access to equipment at that higher level, $1 million, $500,000 worth of equipment. If you couldn't at least touch the equipment, you weren't even in the game. And so I come from that world, and watching YouTube and growing in that regard, the hanging out in border bookstores and different magazines places, getting trade magazines on a Saturday, checking out the honeys. That was a pickup spot also. So I'm in that world. That's on my mind. I'm hearing some of the Manosphere content on YouTube and all of that. And then the Manosphere stuff pop off. and I'm listening to Black Manosphere stuff. I'm listening to BGS and different people like that. I listened for years before I even made a comment. I never even commented below a video or nothing. I listened for years. And then when BGS Coliseum popped off, I never seen an assortment of brothers from like every sector of life in one place, not since I left, maybe go to the barbershop or on the corner in the neighborhood. It was fascinating to me. I mean, everybody was there, the geniuses and the fools and everybody in between. it was all there. It was the community. Okay. And so it's one thing led to another. I started getting involved, getting on the panel. And, of course, then comes the effery. That's life. That's not just YouTube. That's real life, And so then I met some people that would become the Black Brain Trust. And one of those people it was in that group. And so then, but a key thing happened on the Brain Trust. And I have to thank Angry Man for this. I mean, I'm not in his tribe or anything, but just I want to put it on the public record because he pissed me off. I get in conflicts with people. I get in conflict with everybody. I argue with Pookie and Ray Ray, and I argue with the so-called educated lames too. I got issues with both sides. Both sides. Neither side make no sense to me. Both sides got effery. Okay. So that's why you don't really see me on a whole lot of panels around. I just got issues with everybody. Everybody's full of crap. But Angry Man challenged me in one of our conflicts. He said, I went to your page. You talking all this stuff. You ain't even got no videos up. I was seething. I was pissed. I said, he's right. He's right. I was baking. If you go and see my first video, it was a couple weeks before that when that's when Angry Man called me out. He was inferring that you're a hypocrite. You ain't had no videos up. And I had this page up from when I was, like I said, at my job and watching journal, online manuals and things like that, but I had no content. And so that's the beginning of Dollar Will trying to share information about chart reading and technical analysis, because I guess you can say I'm a frustrated filmmaker or frustrated media producer. You can think of it that way, say it that way. And my frustration with the industry is, see, I'm 56 years old. When I was in college in 1982 was my freshman year, Spike Lee was the new rage, and he was like, starting a lot of new things going on. You had the Jazz Lions with Wynton Marsalis, a resurgence of traditional jazz, and Wynton and Branford, and you had Spike Lee sparking the whole, I guess, a resurgence of, I don't want to say the Black exploitation era, but the whole idea that we're going to take control of these images. So a lot of stuff was going on, but you needed money. Everything always went back to, if you need money. So if you don't have money, you don't have control. The golden rule is real. He or she that has the goal makes the rules. And so I hated the fact that I had to work with the people I had to work with in media, people I didn't necessarily like, organizations that didn't necessarily support me. Of course, you're dealing with discrimination and all kinds of issues. And I just reached a point where I said, I'm done with it. I got to get me some money, and I got to take on this money, this capitalism thing head on. And when I get the money, then I'll see what I want to want to do and how I want to be in this industry. Because, so I'm at a different age now. So I don't see myself as being a line worker anymore. You get older, you get back issues and all this stuff of carrying equipment, loading equipment, carrying equipment up steps and all this stuff. And, striking, forget. You age out of that. So now I think my goal started becoming, okay, I'm going to get this money, probably come back into the game as an executive producer. Along the way, of course, online, I see the wonderful example of Tariq Nasheed. No matter what you think of the guy is a legend. He's a legend. Him and Spike Lee. And I'll say Robert Townsend in between them, and Tim and Daphne Reed. I'll throw them in there. They all showed that you can be profitable going the independent route and throw in a Master P. And so all this independence is popping up of Black folks controlling our image and profiting from the culture. But it takes money all the way. And so I started the channel. And then I started the Patreon. And crypto jumped off and grabbed people's imagination, just like the internet stocks and the internet bubble grabbed my imagination back in the 90s. And I came into the industry with talking all that internet yang, like everybody talking all this Bitcoin and crypto yang. And then you learn that the game is bigger than that. And you can make a lot of money real fast, but if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you're going to lose it real fast. And so I went through that big up and big down. And so I said, let me take advantage of the fact that, take advantage, not as an exploit, but take advantage of the fact that people are fanatical about this crypto thing and try to use this as an opportunity to prevent them from losing their gains the way that I lost my gains in the internet era. And so that's where the Patreon comes in. And one of the people that joined was Lionel. And Lionel, I met him on the Coliseum. And he was talking crypto, and I was like, man, if I can get this brother to give this technical analysis thing a shot, if he can kind of temper his enthusiasm and learn how it really works, then I think this guy could really go pretty far. And sure enough, he came over to the channel, to the Patreon about a year ago. And in addition to studying the news and the mechanics of how Bitcoin and crypto works, he started learning how the charts work. And he has, in that time period of, say, the last year, he's only been on my site about a year, maybe 1 month under. And in that time period, his skill has gotten pretty sharp. About 6 months in, the first 3 months is frustrating for everybody. You don't know what I'm talking about. And I just have to repeat the same stuff over and over. But somewhere along the road, about 3 months in, after reading everything I tell you to read, watching all the videos I tell you to watch, at some point, the light goes off. And that epiphany happens for everybody. Then you get this rush of ideas because you see the sequence, the structure, the psychology of how prices move, how the masses create this structure of how prices move, and that prices are not random. These things are not random. That you can actually measure it and predict and project it. We human beings are that predictable. Okay. Madison Avenue knows this. Okay. Doctors know this. And the people that make money in the financial markets, they know it too. And technical analysis is how you can know it. And so then he hit another level where he started converting the knowledge to profit as he was trading his crypto and managing his other personal resources. And then he hit another level because of his study. I saw how serious he was taking it. And so I started feeding them information about, hey, this can be a new career for you, and you can make more money than you ever made in your life with this. Because at the rate that you're growing, you can become a what it's called a prop trader. A prop trader stands for proprietary trader. And a proprietary trader is someone who's trading someone else's money. And so you're trading someone else's money, and you keep the lion's share of it. And the person whose money you're trading gets the smaller portion. Most financial advisors will get you anywhere from, say, 12 to 15% a year. That's like the industry. At least the last time I read it, it was been, just several over the years I've checked in on that figure, and it's always come out to be somewhere between 12 to 15% is what they can get you as a return on your money. And so these prop firms, a lot of them, the house will keep anywhere from 25 or say 30, anywhere from 20 to 30%. These firms vary. So the firm will keep 20 to 30%, and the trader will keep 70 to 80%. It's different levels, different policies, different firms. So I started feeding Lionel that kind of information to see if he was interested in taking that journey. And these companies have what's known as challenges. And so Lionel took a challenge, and he's like so close to the finish line with one. I'm declaring the victory now, because it's like being on the 10-yard line. He's deep into the red zone, and in his march downfield with this particular company. The company doesn't matter. I don't know if I want to mention the company or not. The company that he's with. These companies are kind of funny about the name. I mean, we can mention it because I see other people doing it, but I just have my own. And if it's up to, I'll leave it up to Lionel if he wants to mention it or not. But these companies are kind of leery of their name being associated with the traders and what the traders talk about on their YouTube channels, because they don't want to be linked to it as endorsing it necessarily, because you're not an employee of the company. You're like you're a contractor. So with these prop firms, as traders for the firms, some traders, there's some firms, the traders are licensed under the SEC, just for you folks that have questions about that. And other firms, you're not licensed. And whether the trader is licensed or not has to do with whose money it is that's being traded. If let's say a prop firm props up, pardon the pun, and you're trading, say, Oprah Winfrey's money or some collection of entertainers and athletes or other accredited investors, okay, put it that way, well-heeled folk, that counts as trading, quote, the public's money, and you have to be licensed by the SEC for that. So there's some prop firms, proprietary trading firms, that license all of their traders, and to get the license, it's just 30 days of study, and it's sort of like a real estate broker kind of thing, where the firm sponsors you. They pay for you to take the license. I think it's like $600 or something. You pay, you study, you take the test, and then then now you're licensed. That's what you hear some of the people in the managers talking about when they say that they have one particular license or another. Then there's another type of firm where you don't need to be licensed. And in those firms, you're trading, the person whose money you're trading is the owner of the firm. So that doesn't count as trading, quote, the public's money. And so there's a lot of rich folk out here. It seems to be a growing number, because every time I turn around, there's a new private, prop firm propping up, where you don't need a license, but they have these challenges. It's demo trading. You have to prove to them that you can trade successfully without subjecting their money to a lot of risk. And so I've been rambling on. Lionel is the first of the group to cross that barrier. I had computer issues this past month. I wanted to be the first, but he beat the teacher. Yeah, he beat the teacher to the finish line, and I couldn't be prouder because I learned a long time ago in my travel. You don't know a thing until you can teach it. So Lionel's success is validation for me. Is for me personally that and I intend to repeat this success of producing successful traders. I got a few more on deck coming out this year, so this is not going to be the last. But I've rambled enough. Welcome to the show, Lionel. Today is your day. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing? All right.
Good. Listen, come a little closer to the mic if you can, brother.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Good. So Lionel, when did you start on the Patreon with learning technical analysis?
It was about mid-February last year.
Okay, and you started doing like dividend stock investing how long ago?
Yeah, I started dividend stock investing in about 2007, 2008.
Okay, so you were probably pretty much using fundamental analysis at that time.
Yeah, all fundamentals.
Okay, and then you got into crypto around when?
2017.
Okay, now when you came, so 2017 crypto, 2020 technical analysis. What were your thoughts when you heard me being kind of like rough and raw, railing against fundamental analysis or people who employ fundamentals without any understanding of the technicals? What was your first impression of me when I was like coming at going in pretty hard?
Well, my first impression was it was clear that you knew what you were talking about when you explained things, but I didn't understand. It was like, okay, what? It was almost a what are you talking about? Because since I've been in the investing world, technical analysis wasn't something that was being talked about or pushed. It was talked about in terms of a fringe way.
I'm sorry,
So
it's talked about in terms of what?
fringe, like this fringe thing people do that's not really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
like some kind of hocus pocus, you know. And I'll say the fundamental analysis is the predominant approach, but technical analysis is not new. It's been around for over 100 years. They have organizations for it in this country and in Europe. Some of the tenets of it are woven into SEC licenses that people have. So it has come a long way because it has proven over time to be invaluable. Definitely valuable information. It's must know knowledge. So it's very respected among people who actually win and are able to keep it. It's one of those kinds of things that if you are a certain age, if you came into the game after 2009, which is when this particular uptrend in the market began, what you wrestling, brother?
I'll put my headphones in because it doesn't sound right.
There, now you sound right. Yeah, you were kind of off, kind of distant before. Now, yeah. So I was saying, if you came into the market after any, crypto, whatever, stock market after 2009, there's a saying in the industry that rising tide raising all boats, raise all boats, the completed thought is and sinks all ships. So basically, your profit and loss will ride like the tide. When the general market is doing well, everybody's going to win. Almost everybody's going to win, irrespective of what your ideology is. You can buy and hold, you can trade fundamentals, you can trade technical. So everything seems to work when the general market is rising. You don't really know later if there was a cause and effect between what you were doing and the results you were getting until the market changes directions and starts to fall. That's when you see if you knew what you were doing or if you were just lucky. And I'm saying it's a lot of people out here. If you're not, I'm saying categorically, if you are not trading with knowledge of the technicals, you're just lucky, and you're going to give the money back. And so yeah, I think you got to mute your YouTube. And so when you came to the channel, and how long did it take you once the concept started to make sense a little bit? I mean, how long did it take for the concepts to start to make sense and for you to be convinced within yourself that, wait a minute, there is a structure to how things move?
All right. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first came in, I didn't know what to really expect. Now, I heard you always talk about technical analysis, look at the charts when we did the Friday financials on the Black Brain Trust a couple of years ago. So I was familiar with some of the verbiage and the nomenclature of technical analysis. But when I first came in, that's the only thing I had was that small familiarity. And once I started looking at the charts, once things started to show themselves like a geometric symbionts in the market, that's when it started to click. And that was a couple months into it. Like you say, the first 3 months, you finding your bearings, you finding your sea legs. But after that, it was like, okay, this is odd that this matches up. And then I would hear the news, and the news would come out and say, well, this happened because of this. But I'm sitting there like, do I really believe that if I saw it play out already, or if I saw it start to play out and then it happens and then you hear it on the news? So now I'm thinking, okay, this is a little weird. And I know plenty of times we talked about, the measured move concept, and it'll be times where I would, do a little measured move and it'll come right to a Fibonacci area or a historical support resistance area. And the geometry of that price of that collective human thought was, as you was put it, spooky. It was weird. And so I started believing more and more and more. But as you say, as you're in it for a couple of months, for the first 3 months, you are figuring things out. And then as you're in it more, you start to learn more. You start to learn more, and you start to learn more, and then you start to find your way of trading. So yeah, it is a nice journey.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm sorry right now. Give me a second, everybody. Lionel, I'm in my my little futures thing, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sidebar, and I'm trying to close my daggone position because I can't violate the rule of holding it past the deadline. And this little janky software. I'm not even gonna mention the name of this particular company. That this is not a company that Lionel is dealing with. This is not a company whose link I posted at the top. This is and again, Lionel was trading forex, and this is futures. And the chart reading is chart reading. Doesn't matter what it is in terms of what type of whether it's what the instrument is. It doesn't matter. So, but this thing is with like it won't let me out the trade. So this is like, so I'm doing a trial on this company. It's like, if it works out, I will spend money and give them a shot, to maybe work contract with them. But their software is so janky, I know I'm not going to be working with them. So I'm sitting up here talking to y'all, and I'm trying to
Oh,
get out of this daggone trade.
so I can go through the FTMO backstage that I use while you do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Well, let me ask you this: are you sure that they? I have not read their policy.
No, I'm not sure.
Oh, see there, I don't even. We kind of explain it then. That's not. You
Okay, I'll
mentioned
do
the
that.
name of the company, but just let's explain it. I don't even want to put their software on the screen because I don't want
Okay.
anything to happen. Okay.
Okay. So I signed up for the 100K challenge, and at the beginning of the year they had a special. It was 10% off, and so the 100K challenge costed $594. No, 594 euros, and so it was a 10% discount, and it cost me around $600. But I used the stimulus that the government sent out to do it. And so I applied for that. They have different levels: 25,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. So I chose 100,000. I went all in. I said, no, forget it. But prior to that, I did
And I'm sorry. What did it cost?
Right now it costs about 600 some odd dollars right now.
Now, just to sort of show how competitive forces work, just so people know, don't let that number spook you. There are companies, other quality companies, like one I put at the top. They're probably, I think they're the best one. But these companies have different rules, and so one company might have a more reasonable set of rules for you to follow in order to not get disqualified. And they will have a certain price, and whereas another company will have a different price and different rules. So that he told you that his price was like 600, but that company has very favorable rules, and so you can survive for a longer period of time in that company. So it's worth it to spend more money to get a more favorable set of rules. Whereas the one that's posted at the top, their rules are tougher. It forces you to get better, but their fee is, instead of $600 with the coupon, it's something like 75 or 50. So that link will get you in at that lower rate. If you have not practiced, don't even try it. Now, and let me say this right now: I'm not trying to encourage everybody to run and go be a prop trader, especially if you're not ready, because this is my personal opinion. There's a bit of a scam to this. Okay, maybe scam is too hard of a word. Maybe hustle. Maybe that's too much. Here's what it is: they got this thing set up that you pay for the opportunity to take, say, this test, and if you pass the test, they contract with you to trade the money, and that gives you the opportunity, of course, to make all this money, which is true. That part is true. The hustle part is if your ego gets in it and you think you're ready and you're not ready, and you could be paying this $150 a month until you're ready. And so you could be over there failing with them for a year, end up paying $1,500 for the right to fail. The smart thing to do is leave them people alone altogether until you learn. Okay, find you a teacher. I got my hand raised. Find you a teacher. If not me, find another one with an affordable rate and practice on your own for free or near free. And when you get ready and you think that you putting up that money is a good risk, because the irony is all of this is about risk management. So if you can't even make the personal assessment of your own ability, then you sure enough are going to be a horrible trader, because you already failed before you started, because you've proven to be a poor risk manager, even when it comes to yourself. If you can't even be honest in assessing your own ability, you daggone sure not going to be have the objectivity to be able to manage the price movement. A movement of a price on the chart. So all that. I'm sorry to distract you, Lionel, but I had to get that in. That's a little bit of hustle. So I discourage everybody from getting into any of these things or investing real money at all. When you come to anybody on my page, I have them in paper trade mode. Now, people go against what I say and trade their own money when they feel like it because it's their money, but I don't encourage nobody to trade no kind of money until they can win in the paper trading environment for at least, I think 6 months is a good amount of time. Why so long? Because I said earlier, prices go through this pattern, this of movement, the structure, and you have to experience that structure in real time to see your fear and greed impact your decisions, so you know what your to know that you are controlled by your own fear and greed, and to get some kind of data that can quantify exactly the types of stupid decisions you gonna make. And you gonna make some stupid decisions. You're gonna have to train this stuff out of you. So it's a very unnatural thing, and it takes time to live through those price cycles, identify what your shortcomings are, then address it. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're paying a firm while you're making all those mistakes. I call that the stupid tax. You don't want to pay the stupid taxes. So anyway, so Lionel ran through the gauntlet over with me. He got to a point where I thought he was ready. Then he ponied up the money. And so a lot of these sites have a free trial. Several of them. Now I ain't gonna say a lot. Several of them have a free trial where you can trade free for maybe 14 days. And the rules that they subject you to during the free trial are the same rules that you are subjected to in the paid trial, the paid challenge. Let me say, you have the trial, and then which is free, and then you have the challenge, which is paid and real. So Lionel ponied up the money to the challenge, took the challenge, and like I said, he's going in for the score. He's a few days away from it, but he's so close to it at this point. I'm declaring it. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Go for it, man. I'm sorry to distract. I just wanted to get that in. But so if for the people who are interested, at the very, very top of this thread, I think it's link number 4th link. It says prop trading firm. That's a discount link. That's only for the people who are pretty good traders and they've been in Forex. They understand how it works and all that. You want to give it a shot. There's a discount code there that you'll get. I think it's like $50 off or something. And they'll shoot me a little money too. And so yeah. So go for it if you're interested. The rest of you, don't do it, okay? Do not do it. Come to my Patreon or find you another teacher, okay? But you want to prepare for this. It's like the players coming out of college going to the combine for the NFL, training camp. You got to go through the gauntlet before you're ready to get on the big field. Prepare. I cannot say this stronger, And so those simulated environments, with paper trading, with a firm that's giving you data to show you your win-loss percentage. How long do you hold the trade when it's going against you? And they have rules about what's an acceptable amount of time. And so when you trade for a couple of weeks or a month or so, and you see that data reflected back to you, that's your reality check. That slaps you in the face. And you see if you are above the line or below the line, and you will change and improve. And so Lionel and I, and we've been through that process, and I got a few others that's going through that process. So Lionel and I'll say myself, we're at that point where, it's a done deal. We're ready. We're getting it. And I'm rambling, Lionel.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So I did do the challenge, not the challenge, but the trial. I did 2 trials, free trials, paper trading trials with the company. I know you mentioned that before, to get used to their software. They use the MT4 software, so I did that. I passed both of them. Technically, I didn't pass the first one because I didn't meet the minimum trading days. But I passed. I met the
profit target.
yeah, I met the profit target and everything. So I'll just say I passed both of them because I could have just went in and did a penny trade and met the minimum trading day. So I passed both of them, and then I signed up for the challenge. And I signed up on the December 31st. You have 30 days to get a $10,000 profit target. Now with this challenge, you're not trading real money. It's still a paper trading, but you're, like you say, qualifying to trade their money, their real money. And so when I went in, my first two trades was a loss. I lost about close to $5,000. Not in one day, because the targets are a $10,000 trading profit, 10 days, 10 minimum days of trading, and you can't lose no more than $5,000 in a day and $10,000 total. And so I initially lost $4,000 with two trades, spanning two trades. So my balance was down to $96,040. So now I had to not only get the $10,000 profit target, but the extra close to $5,000 on top of that. So now I had 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks to get a $15,000 profit target. So I was stressing a little bit. I said, "Oh man, it's crazy." But as the old saying goes, I think what Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan so they get punched in the face. But
Pause for a second, Ryan. I just want to stress for people listening. This is if when he's in the real account, these losses he's talking about, that's the firm's money. That's not your money. You don't have to pay it back. If you cross the line and lose too much, they just fire you. It's a cold-blooded meritocracy. And if you want to be, you can be. I don't want to say hired. You can be contracted with them again. You just got to go through the gauntlet again. You got to pay the money, go through the challenge, pass the rules, and then you get another. You have to buy your way back in and then pass the challenge and get another shot. So that's how it works. So I'm sorry, finish your story.
Yeah. So now I have to get $15,000. So in my personal account, I was trading a few trades, and it was one trading pair. I look at multiple forex trading pairs, but I got a burp, but it's not coming. But in my personal trading account, I had traded the Euro Aussie, the Euro Australian dollar, but I had lost some money on it because it went against my my long position. So some told me to look at it again. I looked at it again, and it made a double bottom, confirming a potential reversal in a trend. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna load up some lots on this because all the momentum oscillators I used was pointing in my direction. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead again.
And you put your stop loss in.
Oh yeah, I always trade. I always identify my stop loss and my take profit before I put my trade in. And so I went long, and it went in a direction that my my skill tools thought my skill said was gonna go. So I gained $8,854 on that trade. So at this point, I was about 22.
And this was in one day, right?
Yeah, about one day.
How long? How many hours or minutes or whatever? Just generally, were you in the trade?
At the most, about 15 hours.
Okay, go for it.
So I think do they tell you? I'm looking at it.
Yeah, some of them tell you average time in the trade. No, you'd have to go into the history to see that individual trade. It's not worth it, but generally. So we're not talking days. We're talking within 1 24-hour period. And and like you said, you put in the trade. You put a stop loss. A stop loss is what it sounds like it is. It says stop me from losing money if the price goes below this point. And then the take profit means I want to take my profit. I want to exit the trade when it gets to that amount. So once you put that stuff in, you're just peeking at it every now and again, and at some point in the future, you're going to move your stop loss above where you entered the trade, so you can't lose money.
Right,
so
right.
All of that, thinking all of that out, starting with where you enter the trade and where you plan to exit the trade and how you manage the moving the stop loss. That's called risk management. So that's why you guys will hear me argue vehemently against people that say, you know, this is gambling. It's too much skill in it, and the winning is so the winning with the people that do it well win too consistently for this to be called gambling in the same way that, because people that gamble in every other way of gambling, you know, they don't win like this. So this is a skill. This is not gambling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So before I put that trade in on the Euro Aussie, I had a few more trades in to get some money back. I had got about $830 from the pound dollar, $1,150 from the euro dollar, and about $120 from the dollar yen. And then I got that $8,000 score on the Euro Aussie. So at this point, I was down $2,200, and I only had a week to go. That was last week. This past weekend actually, when I was talking to you, and I was like, man, I got 7 days to get $2,200. So now I was a little bit stressing because I don't want to force a trade. You know, going into it with that mind frame, when that thought of oh, I have to do this, I have to do that is not good. So I cooled down my thought process, and I was looking for potential trade opportunities, and I found two. One was the euro yen, and the other one was the euro New Zealand dollar. So I got $809 off the euro yen and about almost $1,500 off the euro New Zealand dollar. Now I had my my MT4 up looking. So I was looking at
MT4 is a trading platform.
Yeah.
It's just the one that each of these firms have different trading platforms that you have to use or whatever. But go ahead.
So I had it up, and it was this morning. Well, no, yesterday morning. Today too. Yeah, yesterday morning when I had it up, and I was looking at the profit. And as soon as it hit like 20, as soon as it hit 2,300, 2,300, I exited out my trades. I was waiting. I didn't want to chance nothing, so I exited out, and I was already. Now, all these trades, mind you, the profits one, it was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades. I got basically $15,000 of 6 trades. So I had to do, 4 other penny trades. So I had met all the requirements by yesterday except the profit targets. And so I finally did that. I exited out, as soon as it hit my goal of $2,300, exited out. Like an hour later, I got an email from them saying, hey, you passed the challenge.
All right. So you, like you said, you got a little bit more to go. You trust like that first phase, and the second phase is much, much shorter. And what they're doing is they're just trying to double check that you didn't get lucky. That's really all the 2 phases. And so these firms will give you it could be, the challenge can be 30 days or 60 days. Then they'll have a minimum number of days because some people they roll that money in so fast. They might say, okay, you 30 days, but a minimum of 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get the profit early within that, then you're out of there. They're going to move you on to the next phase. But man, when you sent me that letter, a copy of your the little they have a dashboard on their webpage which checks off when you've accomplished all the things that you got to do. And Lionel sent that to me in my text message. Man, I was so daggone happy because though, let me also say the amount of money that he's talking about, that's a part of the training, because psychology is a big part of this. You have to get used to seeing big amounts of money, like, seeing your account swell like that, thousands of dollars that would take you 2 weeks or more at your job to get, and you get that in a couple of hours. It can mess you up.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to practice for months to get used to that, to lose that you have that like emotional response to that. Just see it as, okay, given the amount of say my lot size, the money I have in the trade, you just start to see it as percentages and not real, not let the dollar amount blow you away. And so as long as it's moving, like your drawdowns, your minor losses, as long as those what's happening, roll the tape, and Ryo, what's happening, CR, Frank, J Air, Darth, Low IQ. I'll shout the rest of y'all later. But yeah, you got to get used to seeing those numbers move up and down at certain amounts in order to like calm yourself down, because what you're doing is you're trading a setup on a chart that repeats itself. And so what you're doing in the education is learning the different setups that'll show up, and you're going to practice trading them, and then you're going to find out which setup, or which, it could be more than one, which setups work best for you. And then when you learn that, you're going to have to learn the discipline to just mind your business, trade your strategy, to apply it to your setup, and go sit your butt down. When you got your money from your setup, exit the market and go sit down. And so it takes a while to break yourself out of that hodl mentality that non-technical traders have, and that FOMO mentality. All of that is fear and greed. And so you learn to tamp that down. And so Lionel, congrats, bro.
To piggyback on what you said, when I first started the challenge, the first 2 trades, the losing trades, I had no business. I knew I had no business doing that. But not the stress, the anxiousness of putting that skin in the game. Now, mind you, I was already trading with my own money, but I wasn't trading with a 100K account.
Right.
And putting that skin in the game, like, okay, saying, or I have to do this, I have to get this, I have to make this money. I knew I had no business going and executing those first 2 trades, because the first 2 trades I put the trading pairs was the euro dollar and the pound dollar, and they moved similarly. And I already had experience with the euro dollar for yester months. So that piggybacks off the psychology of it. When you see those numbers, especially when they go against you, it's like, oh man. So I lost those 2 trades and my account was down. So I just had to regroup and recollect myself and just look at trade setups that go according to how I trade.
Right. There was something in there. Again, I'm getting senioritis. Something in there we were talking about the amounts of money. So how long did it take you to get used to like the large numbers like that?
After you see it for over and over again, and I'll go on other people's YouTube accounts. Now there's some YouTube accounts that they just flash money because I made X amount of money in trading, but when you look at some people who's more down to earth, and like I think both you and I one of our favorite Forex YouTubers is Hannah Forex.
Yeah.
Someone like that's more down to earth, and they talk about the amount of money you can get. It really instills in you, okay, I need to be on an even keel in terms of like my own psychological thought process when I trade this, because you can get large amounts of money as long as you have your own trading style and know how you think, know how you are, and know how to think. I said that already. When you trade, so you can actually get percentages of money. But it took me a while, because in the beginning it was like, like I can do this, like this is crazy. And especially when you talk about learning the charts, looking at a chart and seeing something. When I was younger, you would think that that's like what big Wall Street guys on the 111th floor do. That's what they do. You know, how can I do this? But as you get into it more, and as you learn more, and as it gets broken down to you to a more simplistic level, it becomes attainable. And
Right.
then when you think about the numbers, it's like, wow, this is it's freedom, basically. Like Jay Take Profit say, you know, get your time freedom back.
Yeah, he's another good one. He's another. That's the thing about it. When you start learning, you know which of these YouTubers are telling the truth.
Hmm.
Some of them are full of crap, and another set of them, that's real. The profits that they're talking about, it's real. You know it's real because you know what you do. You can do. So you go. So that it just changes everything. But I mean, I have to say the difference is, I know when you heard me in the beginning, and you didn't really know that this was true, and the biggest decision was when you said, let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot. And most people can't take that leap because their mind has already been corrupted about what's possible, and they've seen too many scams, and that therefore they think everybody's a scam.
Yeah.
You know, and everything is a scam. No, it's not. And this is real. And the thing that attracts me to it, you know, I mean, look, I'm one of those pro-black, left-leaning, litigious bros. Okay, that's my background. I'll sue you. Okay, that's me. I came into this world with my fist balled up. Okay, so and I knew at an early age that corporate America and it would never be equal or fair to me. I'm just I knew that. So I'm always had to look for another way. But the thing about trading, I say that there's really only two fair avenues in America, and that's sports and trading. Because both of them are performance based. It doesn't matter your race or anything, where you came from, what school you went to. Can you get the job done? Can you make that block? Can you make that pass? Can you catch it? Can you shoot that 3-pointer? Nobody cares anything about where you've been, where you come from. Can you get the job done? And trading is the exact same way. And Warren Buffett put me on the path as a kid when I heard him say, trading is the best business in the world. You don't need any inventory and you don't need any employees. I said, yeah, that's for me. That's for me. I don't have to worry about fitting into a corporate culture. I don't have to worry about how much money I don't have. All I have to do is get to a point where I can achieve the performance standard.
And you know what?
Go ahead. And I'm not sorry. And before you make that point, I'm gonna bring in another Patreon member. He's on the come up. He's taking strides every day, and I'm hoping that this inspires him to get to where Lionel is. But he's putting in the work, and he's moving closer to it. So maybe I'm not gonna put too much pressure on him. Let's just say I'm not going to say a time, but I do believe that at the rate that he's going, we will have a show. I'm gonna put the pressure on in 3 months. That's being conservative. He better be here. We're doing one of these shows, and I introduce to you. Welcome to the panel, brother. Iori 666.
Hey, bro. Hey. First off, man, congratulations, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Like we were sitting down and talking about what was happening to you for probably a couple weeks. I remember me and Dollar Will were talking about it privately. So this is a special day for you, bro, and congratulations. I'm kind of all
right. I'm sorry. Let me interrupt. I don't want Lionel to forget his point, but then after he makes that point, I'll let y'all flow.
What I was saying is, we don't sometimes we don't know or see people who are doing it that look like us, And whenever we do see that, it breaks that, oh, I can't do it. And as I've been in the trading, I see more and more people on YouTube that look like us, that look like me, just doing it. And it's like, wait a minute, were they always here, or now that I'm in this space, do I see them? And just yesterday, I looked up a YouTube channel on options, to get options explained. And
Sure.
it was this black girl. She was on there. She was, she was young from Dallas, and she had her little braids in her hair, and she was breaking it down. She do options trading on Robinhood, and I'm
Right.
like, I would have, if I wasn't in trading, I would have never looked at this video.
Now, and check this out. Now, if you had not had the success, or a success in terms of even just understanding it and being able to execute it, even if it's just in a demo environment, and say the little, success you've had with your money, your private money, if you hadn't had the success of applying these technicals, would you have even believed that she was telling the truth?
Nah, because how she was explaining the amount of money you can get, it was like, I don't know about that. I don't know why they get the money like that. But now that I'm in it, I'm not in the options, I'm in the forex, but I understand the profitability in the whole trading.
Right.
Right.
And she was explaining it, and she was saying, she made an example. She said, if you get about 3 stocks for $100 and it goes to 150, you get $150 profit. She was like, nah, that ain't nothing. And anybody else, like you said, in the investing world, an advisor would get you 12 to 15%. But she was like, that ain't nothing. And that alone will probably turn people off, because it's like, okay, how much you talking about you getting? And she explained it with options. Instead of getting $150 profit, you can get close to $1,000 profit on that same scenario. So she was breaking it down. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
But at the basis of all of it, you can't be a good options trader if you're not also a good technical trader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the technical analysis is at the foundation of all of it, and including cryptocurrency. So how has this knowledge affected your crypto trading?
Well, with the crypto trading, obviously I got popular around the sphere since Bitcoin hit 42,000. But now I remember you telling me and Mike Grizzly back in 2017, hey man, get out of crypto. But at that time, I didn't know technical analysis, and you were trying to tell us. Now I understand. And now when people ask my opinion on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I tell them, hey man, if you go back and look at the videos I've done on other people's channels, be it Bernard Rowley, be it the Prophet of Truth, be it any other person
Prophet of Thought,
any other person in his sphere, I always say, when Bitcoin was at 40-something thousand, I say, hey man, I can't justify buying at this price, because I know better. I can't tell now that I know what I'm doing. I can't tell nobody to get into something at a high when I know it's going to reverse. So now I'm trying to, I try to tell people, but I feel like I'm in your boots and your shoes years ago when you try to tell people, hey man, this, you may not want to get into that. But hopefully as time goes on, people will start to trust more what I say.
Yeah, well, my thing is, again, we're not financial. We're not licensed. We're not financial advisors. So I carry the flag of learn technical analysis. Okay.
Yeah.
So technical analysis, it's a broad umbrella. Underneath that umbrella are many styles of technical analysis. Okay. And my approach is to combine like 3 different styles. And so that means I'll get a signal or cue in 3 different styles or ideologies, put it that way. And so that we call that confluence, where you use different strategies, and when all those strategies are giving you a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that makes it a high probability trade. High probability increases the probability that you're right. And so that's what everyone in my space, that's what they're learning. And it takes what it takes, again, because I'm doing three things. I'm not just teaching one thing. And it just takes a while to learn it all. Then it takes a while. You got to read it all. You got to watch some videos. And you got to watch this thing play out. Then you might have to watch it play out again. But somewhere along the way, you're going to go, okay, I know this thing works. I've seen it work. I just have to internalize these rules. And but when you get it, and I've never had a person apply themselves and not get it, man, it changes your life. And I tell you, it's real. When they say the failure rate in trading, check this out, y'all. The failure rate in trading is 90%. That's the failure rate. And the failure rate is that high because people don't get trained, you know. And people don't, I think people underestimate the grind that people that have that do have some measure of success or what they've gone through to get to that point. And when you get to that point, we talk about the 80-20 rule. Now you're talking the 90-10 rule. Okay, so now you become part of the 10% that don't regularly lose. And so it's just not a whole lot of people you can have a conversation with about this trading thing. So the first question I ask people is, are you a technical trader? And if they are, then generally we're not going to have any disputes, any major disputes. If they are not, I'm trying to teach myself now to just start looking for the door to exit that conversation. Maybe the most I can do is impress upon them the importance of learning technical analysis. And that might be as far as I can go with them. We don't have enough of a shared reference of facts in order to quote build beyond that point. So anybody got anything else they want to add? I'm gonna scan this shout out. Let's see who else I didn't shout out. I think I got everybody. We're gonna have some go around whatever you got to say, and we're gonna shut it down.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I want to say, and this happened to me, it really started happening a couple of weeks ago. When you get in here, like you said, the first couple months are gonna be feeling like you're swimming against the tide because there's a lot of information. But once you start understanding this stuff, really what technical trading and the way that you teach technical trading does is it opens your mind up for profits that you never thought you'd even be able to see. Right. That's the big thing, because like, you know, it's one thing to say, okay, like I can make X amount of dollars, you know, and you're trying to make $200, $300, $400, $500, and you're thinking that you're doing okay. But there's a whole other level of making profit that you haven't seen and you haven't internalized yet, if you really understand how technicals work. And that's one of the things that I had to fight with, because, you know, like, and that's something that I'm learning now. But it takes time. But once you get it, it's life changing for sure.
And people don't get caught up into, you got to be trading cryptocurrency or you ain't doing nothing, or you got to be trading penny stocks or you ain't doing nothing, or it's all about Forex. If you're not trading Forex, you ain't doing nothing. Or if you're not trading futures, you ain't doing that. You're not trading options, you ain't doing that. The fact of the matter is, it all makes money.
Right. You
can make more money than you can handle. You can make enough money to kill yourself in any one of them. Okay, hate them, you know, to be morbid about it. More money than you need in any of them. They all work. Now, each of those markets have their own little personality, and you just have to pick which one you feel comfortable in, or which ones with the S that you feel comfortable in. But none of them, no one of them is any better than another. No, the explosive move in Bitcoin is not greater than anything we've ever seen. That's just not true. I know that's what everybody says, but it's not true. Apple and other stocks, because of stocks having stock splits, the price of the stock you see is not the real price, because they split that stock several times. If you Google the price of Apple without the stock splits, you see it's about what Bitcoin is doing. So it's not that unusual. And then when you add this whole concept of double and triple leverage, ETFs, what you see Bitcoin doing, there are many opportunities. We have a person in my Patreon group. You guys know him. I don't want to. You'll. I'll mention the name. Matty Ghost. Everybody knows Matty Ghost. Matty Ghost has been hanging out too, and he's into penny stocks. So he's applying technical analysis to penny stocks. And it's challenging, especially when you're trading something that doesn't have a lot of price data, but there's a way around that. Okay. And he's doing pretty well. So it all works. Okay. I'm not carrying a flag for any one type of investment. They all work. You just have to learn how they work. That's it, and how they're related. And then you're going to have a strategy. You're going to apply that strategy to that market, and if you can stay within your rules, that's the issue. It's nothing magical about Bitcoin or crypto or over anything else. They all work.
Right. And the other thing is, I want to say this: when you actually start putting positions up, you'll start realizing what you're comfortable with. That's something that happens while you're in the position, right? So like, depending on what your risk tolerance is or whatever you're wired for, the asset class that you gravitate towards will actually show itself to you, because it's just one of those kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lionel.
No, I was agreeing with him. I said,
Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll close this out. NBA 2K, LTT17. He says, "Who did it? Who did what?" Well, Lionel passed, or is about to pass. He's going in for the touchdown to conclude a challenge, a trading challenge that will allow him to trade a port. Let's see, how does this go? Give him $100,000 of buying power with a proprietary trading firm. You have to back up to the beginning of this video where I go into this long diatribe about what it is, what a proprietary trading firm is. Basically, it's trading other people's money. Okay, where you keep anywhere from these firms vary, but you keep anywhere from 70 to 80% of the profit that comes from trading their money. But in order to get access to the opportunity to trade their money and keep that level of profit, you have to prove yourself in what they call a challenge. And so we have at least the first. He might be the first person in the manosphere to get to that level. And so I'm here popping collar. That is one of my I'm even hesitant to say student, because I've taught people before in the past, but at a certain point, that person transitions from being a student to a peer, and we are approaching that. So over the course of maybe this coming year, I won't be referring to him as a student anymore. He'll be a peer, and his final challenge from me as his teacher, air quotes, will be that he has to find a student and bring that student to his level. Because the way I was taught coming up, you don't know a thing until you can teach it. So that's the road's not over. He's got to get to that firm, got to cross the goal line. Then he's got to fight to stay at the firm. Because people they get in and they stay for a couple of months, and the FOMO or the fear of greed gets the best of them. They break one of the rules, then they get let go. But the thing is, if you can capture, even if you go and you get kicked out after a month or two, if you can take down 10 grand, okay, or a challenge cost you a couple $100, you study for it, you pass it, you got in, you trade for a month or two, maybe you take down 10 or 20 grand, and then you get undisciplined and blow one of the rules. I call that a win. You got out with 20 grand, and you can go back in and take the challenge and pass and get recertified and try again. So that's who did it. Who? Lionel. What did he do? He won an opportunity to become what we call, quote, a funded trader, trading OPM, other people's money. And that is a level of distinction. And to my mind, that makes him a professional. He's turning pro, y'all. He's turning pro. Okay. Let's see. Neophyte. Okay. Art New Style. So help me understand the art. So that would mean he would be a neophyte now. But I never liked that word. But is that what you're saying? He would be a neophyte right now, and so he would graduate beyond that level. Is that what you're trying to clarify? Yeah. But yeah, this whole culture of apprenticeship is what we need in our community. We always talk about the absence of fathers, and I'm not on these panels, but every time I hear that, absence of fathers and not wanting to raise other people's kids, and I understand that argument. I was raised by somebody that wasn't my father, so and I got family members who step in and be the second dad. So, but in the same respect, growing up, I said I don't want to do it. So I understand both sides of that, but what gets lost in that conversation is we still need you to be a great uncle. You don't have to be the stepdad. How about just being the best uncle? And that's a part of that whole discipleship understudy kind of culture that we need to perpetuate.
To answer Jay Air's question, he asks, does option trading cost you a monthly fee for Robinhood app, or can I learn and pay any amount of money I want to use to start? You will have to answer that question. I'm not into options right now. I'm just learning options.
And I would say I too am not an options trader. I dabble in it, so I would become somebody's student in it. I've read a lot about it. I paper traded in it, but I haven't really put the time into it. So maybe I would say in 2022, that would be my goal. My personal goal is to take my technical analysis to the options world in 2022. Maybe. I say maybe because look, I can get all the money I need right here with Forex and futures. Okay. I got my $1 million plan already, worked out how I'm going to reach the status of I'm nowhere near that yet, but I got the formula, I got the plan, and I'm working the plan, and the plan is working. So I know the plan works. I just have to have the discipline to apply the plan, and that's my personal challenge. But I have a plan that so far seems to work, that projects that it can work to get to that $500,000 to $1 million per year. So this trading scales very easily. Okay, you just got to get a system that works, and then you have to apply the discipline to it, and just be like, the Golden Arches, McDonald's, just 1 billion, over 1 billion serves, make that hamburger the same way every time. And so it can get kind of boring, but that's where the discipline is. You got to make that hamburger the same way every time. But the money, it actually gets quite easy, figuring it out, once you got somebody walk you down the path, you get there. Then again, it's all about discipline after that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I'm not an options trader, definitely not an options teacher, but there are a lot of people out here that do it. But yeah, Robinhood, you can trade options on Robinhood. I have a Robinhood account, and I do experiment with some options setups on Robinhood, and so it's there, and it's an affordable, like low fee environment to do it. So I'm gonna shut it down. Thank you, everyone. And I'm gonna say tomorrow I have another reveal, another success story. It's someone you know. You have to tune in tomorrow. Peace, everybody.
All right.